Hey everybody, it's Midwest Comic Man coming at you with episode 6 of Creator Spotlight. This episode's going to be about Russ Heath. Russ Heath was born on September 29th, 1926 in New York City. Russ is known for his gray wash covers as well as the realism of his military comics. Joe Kubert once said about Russ Heath, he could illustrate mechanical things like rifles and tanks in a realistic way that few other artists could. He would build models of the things he would draw prior to drawing them, and his stuff would come out right on the button. Other writers used to keep what they called a swipe file, pictures of things they may have to draw someday that they could use for reference. Russ's work was so good, other artists used it as reference. In his later career, this is a funny story, he assisted Harvey Kurtzman and Will Elder on their strip for Playboy magazine called Little Annie Fanny. Mark Vanier described Russ taking advantage of the situation. One time, when deadlines were nearing meltdown, Harvey Kurtzman called Heath in to assist in a marathon work session at the Playboy Mansion in Chicago. Russ flew in, they gave him a room there, and he spent many days aiding Kurtzman and artist Will Elder in getting one installment done of the strip. When it was completed, Kurtzman and Elder left, but Heath just stayed, and stayed, and stayed some more. He had a free room as well as free meals whenever he wanted from Hef's 24-hour kitchen. He also had access to whatever young ladies were lounging about, so he thought, why leave? He decided to live there until someone told him to get out. And for months, nobody did. Everyone just kind of assumed he belonged there. It took quite a while before someone realized he didn't and threw him and his drawing table out. Russ was truly one of the greats until his passing at the age of 91 on August 23rd, 2018. And now, some of his great covers in no particular order. First, we have Showcase 27. This is the first appearance of the Sea Devils. It's one of Heath's gray wash covers that he did so well. I really love the effect on these, especially on underwater scenes. It gives the cover a painted look. Russ was known for the level of detail he put into everything, and that's clear here. Individual scales on the creature, the way the ship is done, and the brilliant use of lighting on the scuba gear of the Sea Devils. This is great stuff. Next up is Showcase number 3. I kind of consider this a tryout issue for the Sea Devils. This one's more seated in realism, and it was, I think the first couple Showcase issues were all like that. But then a certain Scarlet Speedster showed up in the next issue and kickstarted the Silver Age. So the more superhero-like Sea Devils were born. It's another great gray wash underwater cover, with some frogmen setting explosives on the hull of a Japanese ship in World War II. Next is Showcase 45. This is the origin issue for Sergeant Rock. I picked this one solely for this fantastic cover. How awesome is this? You got Germans in a machine gun nest with an MG-42. It's a bombed out building, and they're spinning around and blazing away at Sergeant Rock as he leans out from the building to return fire while a comrade's hanging onto his arm to keep him from falling. This cover is both ridiculous and awesome at the same time. Now we're going to jump into the more modern days with the Nom number 65. This is just a simply great cover, which is why I threw it in here. A sniper with half his face burnt off, taking aim, amazing detail. I don't know what I can say about this cover, other than I think it's really awesome. Heath still clearly had it in his later years. Now we get to GI Combat 87. This is one of my all-time favorite covers, and really hard to find in grade. American planes are it's because it's also the first appearance of the haunted tank as well, I should point out. American planes are dive bombing a Japanese ship. His flak explodes around them. Tremendous detail on the planes and the pilot of the plane closest to the viewer. You see the puffs of smoke from the guns on the ship, the splashes of bombs hitting the water. This scene cannot pack any more action in it than it already has. Next, we have Star Spangled War Story 67. This is another Frogman cover, and I think this is pretty much the definition of a bad day. All this Frogman wants to do is repair his sub in peace. Some Japanese boat starts chucking depth charges in the water. Image perfectly captures the terror on the man's face as he knows his fate is sealed. Next, we have Sea Devils number 10. Another gray wash cover for the Sea Devils. I love this one because of the absurdity of it. They're in an underwater Old West town having a shootout with spear guns. Think about that for a minute. You take the water out of it, put cowboy hats on the Sea Devils, and you have a cover for All-Star Western. This is one of those I need to see what's going on here covers. Next is All-American Men of War 94. This is one of my all-time favorite Johnny Cloud covers. Amazing detail as Johnny climbs out of his burning plane to parachute to safety, but he just can't resist taking a few shots at the German plane that shot him down, with a handgun no less. I really like the effect on the propeller of the plane. The way he drew it, you get the illusion of motion, whereas most people draw just like the static propeller. Next is All-American Men of War 110. Great cover, a German fighter plane crashing through the wing of an American bomber as it's shot down, and the bomber's lit from below by searchlights. This one sticks in my mind, I think, because of a very similar scene happened in the movie Memphis Belle. Maybe the screenwriter owned this book as a kid. I don't know. But anyway, it's a great cover. Next up, we have Adventures into Weird World 7. Heath is best known for his work at DC, but he did a lot of work for other companies as well. Here he does the cover of an Atlas horror book. Man and woman are at a bus stop. Perhaps they're flirting with each other, but only through their reflections do we see that she is a vampire and he's a werewolf. This is another standard trope of the pre-code horror stuff of people dating or buried, and one of them's a vampire and one's a werewolf. But this is an understated yet very effective cover. Next is Combat KC-17. I'm not gonna lie, I picked this one because Casey has a great mustache, much like me when I do it up. Oh yeah, and also because it's an awesome cover. Casey barrels into two communist soldiers like a one-man wrecking crew. I wouldn't want to be on his bad side, that's for sure. Next, Uncanny Tales 48. This is a post-code horror issue. I picked this one because it shows how effective a cover can be with a limited color palette and a simple image. The only image is a terrified man with a few ghostly repetitions and only hint of a background behind him. Got the nice bold red and yellow colors making the cover really pop. What happened to Harry indeed? Next, we have Mystic 22. I love a good mummy cover, and here we have two for the price of one. When will Gaia start to take the mummy's curse seriously? These mummies are actually in pretty good shape considering they've been sitting around for who knows how long. But that doesn't matter to the poor soul they're about to pummel and rip apart. This is good stuff. Next up is Spellbound number 20. I simply love this pre-code horror cover. I read an interview once with Russ, and he recalled this cover as the one cover he was asked to censor before the code went into effect. Was it too horrific, you ask? Nay, nay, nay. He was asked to tone down the headlights of the young lass. Great classic cover, and not easy to find. Next we have War Adventures 5. War at its grittiest, capturing the moment a soldier's life is snuffed out by a bayonet to the chest. American soldiers hunched over, driving with tremendous force through the enemy, who has a look of shock and pain on his face. In the background, you can see the silhouette of more soldiers in hand-to-hand combat. War Adventures number 9 is the last one we'll highlight today. I said the last one was War at its grittiest, but this one takes the cake. A single American soldier, a smoke hanging from his lips, takes on a squad of enemy soldiers by himself. But look at that dude in the lower right corner. Look at that. That's a bad day right there. As you can see, Russ was an amazing artist with a long career. His first published work was in 1948, and his final work was in 2011. Few artists have such longevity. He was awarded numerous times during his career, including an Inkpot Award in 1997. He was inducted into the Will Eisner Comic Book Hall of Fame in 2009. He received the Comic Art Professional Society Sergio Award in 2010, and the National Cartoonist Society's Milton Caniff Award in 2014. He influenced many artists, and he's always going to be a legend in the field. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and sub me up. I've put my website for my cleaning and pressing business in the description below. It's still a work in progress, but I hope to be adding updates soon. If you need any info, my email address is on the website. The next episode of Creator Spotlight will highlight Kurt Swan at a viewer's request. Stay tuned for that later this week, as well as the next issue of Inside the Covers, which will spotlight Planet Comics #2. Make sure you tune in for Comic Core on Friday nights and Blaster Stash It on Sunday nights. Until next time, this is Midwest Comic Man, coming at you from the funny pages.